Okay, in this short video, we're going to be stating the domain for a function that is in fraction form. Remember, when you talk about the domain, you are stating all the values that x is allowed to be. And in talking about what it can be, you also have to mention what it cannot be. Things or values that the function cannot take on mainly have to do with values that will make the entire function undefined. And in the case of a fraction, we know that when we have a zero in the denominator, that makes the entire fraction undefined. So we want to stay away from values that will create a zero in the denominator, thereby making the entire fraction undefined. And you can tell that just by observation. The value that you may not use here is 3. Now, if you were going to state the domain, you would basically be saying that x can be anything you like, it just can't be 3. So if you were going to say it in set builder notation, you would say x is such that, this symbol stands for such that, x can be any element of the real number set, except it cannot be, your exceptions get stated after the comma, it cannot be 3. A more compact way to give this answer, and the method that you're going to be using mainly as you state your answers, is interval notation. So we're going to be saying this same thing, that x can be any of the real numbers on a real number line, except it can't be 3. Now, in the case of stating your answer in interval notation, I think it would be best if you draw on a number line the values that it can and cannot be. So why don't we put the value that it can't be? We'll put a hole right here so that we're basically saying we're going to jump over that value, yet any of the values to the left of 3 are good. So all of this is good, and anything to the right of 3 is good. So when you state a domain in interval notation, you're going to talk about that it can be anything. You read the number line and all the values that it can and cannot be from left to right. It can be anything from negative infinity up to, but not including, and that's why I'm going to use a parenthesis around the 3, because parentheses are used around endpoints that are non-allowable values. So it can be anything from negative infinity to 3, non-inclusive of that 3, or the union symbol stands for the word or, and it also makes you jump over values that you cannot use and then pick up on the other side. So now you can be anything from 3 to positive infinity. Okay, and because again you have a parenthesis around the 3, you're saying that that endpoint is non-allowable, and that is the domain for this fraction. It'll stop this fraction from becoming undefined because someone has used the wrong value.